Life Management Science Labs would like to acknowledge that we live and produce this podcast on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. We'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands of our listeners and our international colleagues. We'd like to pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Hi, and welcome to Self-Improvement Atlas, the Personal Science Insights podcast produced by LMSL, the Life Management Science Labs. We are champions of life management science, providing structured insights informed by science and inspired by practice on key aspects of conscious living. Each week, we bring you scientific and practical insights on each element with the expert knowledge of professionals in the field. I'm Marie Stella, your host from Melbourne, Australia. Let's start the show. Welcome back to the show. The new year's upon us, and it's an opportune time to evaluate and re-evaluate our life plans and goals. So today we're speaking to insurance advisor Jen Fajardo about starting the fresh year by preparing for financial wellness. Hi, Jen. It's great to have you on the show. How are you going today?
Hi, Marie. It's great. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to share with you guys. I'm so excited.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's 9 a.m. That's really early on your side. So thank you for waking up so early to talk with us. So I'm really curious to know, what is your approach when it comes to financial planning?
So basically, in my profession, I usually do financial planning workshops wherein we talk about the basic steps. Because as we all know, we have like the best goals. I mean, for you, you have your own goal, and I have my own goal. But it's really about the step one. How to start. So I do a holistic approach in trying to make it easier to understand. So from the budgeting side to expenses and debt, loans, and investing side and protection. And from there, we work on the strategies towards their end goal. So yeah.
That sounds amazing. And it's a great preface to our topic for the day. But before we get further into detail, we'd like to get to know you better. This is Have You Met Jen? So
Okay.
I'd really like to know, what is your favorite book?
My favorite book is it's many, but I have top two in mind. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear and Rich Dad Poor Dad, the famous one by Robert Kiyosaki.
What are your favorite things about these books?
Okay, so with the Atomic Habits, just like what you mentioned earlier, that 9 a.m. is early in the Philippines. Actually, 7 a.m. is the earlier. So the habits of waking up is like normal here in PH because the office hours is like 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. 9 a.m. is a bit late, but with that book, you can really talk about how your 1% every day can be a big impact in your life and in others' lives as well. And you don't have to be like always 100% in doing tasks by just showing up and waking up and just doing 1%. It's really a great consistency and habits. So yeah, it's about that. And it's really important for me in my job as an insurance advisor. And also I'm a unit manager. So I don't just talk about insurance. I also manage people. So it's about being consistent 1% every day. And
For
yeah.
those who are just listening to the audio version of this podcast, when Jen said that the regular office hours are 7 or 8 a.m. in the Philippines, my jaw dropped. That's what happened.
I saw that.
Because I do wake up at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., but I tend to lie in bed for a bit and just kind of procrastinate and kind of roll around.
Yeah.
So I can't ever imagine Yeah, imagine going to the office at 7 a.m. That's
Yeah.
that's insane to me. But I digress. Yeah, you were moving on to the next book.
Yeah, when with regards to the habits, which is my favorite, the rich dad poor dad is about comparing two mindsets, the rich dad and the poor dad. But in general, it's like when people like us in the industry, the finance industry, we talk about the poor mindset and the abundance mindset, and we can't really, like do 100 currently the population in the Philippines is 111 million Filipinos, but only 1M are insured or are protected. So compared to other Southeast Asian countries like Singapore, they are ahead of those financial protection plans and investment things. So it's really about, this book is really about helping others to be part of the abundance mindset that not everything is permanent, but you can do something about it and you can change your mindset, even though last week you're the negative mindset in the group. And then after being in the right track, after a week, you can just immediately be changed just by reading a book or just by doing stuff. So yeah, it's about that. And about having the right mindset, you get to have the reach or the richer environment. Then the financial, money or capacity will just come after having the right mindset.
That sounds like a great way to live life, really. What about movies? Do you have a favorite genre, or do you have like one or two go to movies that you love to watch?
Yeah. So I'm not really into movies, but I'm into like Korean series. So if you were into Itaewon Class, if you have heard of it, uh,
Yes, I have.
yeah. So if you have watched it, you'll get to realize how important having the right assets or allocation of finance, especially if your parents are well informed or have this enough financial wellness ideas. So in that series or show, their goal is to really help the viewers also to know that there are some financial institutions that they can put their wealth in and can be transferred to their next generation. So there, I learned also the importance of my job as a financial advisor. That even though I'm just 27, and I can really acquire asset or buy a company if I just have the wealth. Like if I'm a billionaire or if I have insurance proceeds from my parents. And yeah, that story is really touching also because you were able to acquire things because of the hard work that your family or your father planted. So you're just the one reaping the rewards of all the sowing of seeds way back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love how you kind of relate all the media that you consume back to what you do.
Yeah.
And you see all these little details. That's really great. As for podcasts, are you listening to any at the moment?
Yeah, but the time that I have is not really permitting me to listen to a lot of it. But I have this one podcast. It's called the Mindset Mentor podcast of Rob Dial. So before I was able to have a quick chat with Rob through my Instagram page because I follow him ever since like pandemic happened. So when I was through going through the pandemic, I have time. I have time to listen. So he talks about like having the right mindset again, even though all the struggles or all the things that you're going through right now. How can you shift from this mindset to a whole new one? So he helped me and motivated me to be where I am today because I just got promoted this year and I wasn't like a leader type or a managerial type. So 2020 come 2023, of course, it's not an overnight, But again, when you listen to podcasts, even though you're just trying to sleep, I give myself like 9 minutes because his podcasts are 13 minutes at most. Yeah. So I didn't really had that time now, but before it helped me. So in 3 years' time, yeah, it helped me really to be motivated and to inspire people to be leaders also because I'm grooming new set of managers in my team.
Yeah, that's great. I also find that with podcasts, especially the kinds that are really thought provoking or like kind of give you some educational content where you want to think more about what you've just learned or reflect on it a bit.
Yeah,
It, like the idea of listening to podcasts on the go or like while you're doing something that is ideal, but at the same time when you're listening to things that are thought provoking and require you to reflect a bit more afterwards, it's really difficult
yeah,
to put a podcast on in the background and go on with your day because you
yeah.
want to actually revel in what you've just listened to. So I can definitely relate to that in that like I love podcasts too. I can't like binge listen to a bunch of them because I really want to immerse myself in it, you
Yeah,
know. Do you have a role model?
right now, so in my company, we have like a branch head and a sales head. So currently, my role model is those people because I'm looking up to them, and I can really envision myself to be like them, to be owning a branch of my own, like a one office in a building. That's what branch head do. So yeah, they are my role models because their values compares to what I know and what I love, and their core is what I'm learning also. So what are my strengths? Almost the same with them, but my weaknesses I should convert it to them, like make it an asset also, so I could be ahead of in my game. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way of thinking. Do you see yourself there anywhere in the short term?
In the short term, sorry, I've
Yeah. Do you see yourself at that stage anywhere in the near future?
yeah, actually I have my vision board, and like I do dates like by 2024 I'm like this, in 2025. So I'm a bit like, I can be there in the last 3 years, but it still depends on my today. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can feel it.
Amazing. I can feel your ambition and I'm rooting for you. Is
Yeah.
there a course that you've taken that has inspired you?
Actually, the courses or some here have webinars, seminars like that. I've been through a lot. So the recent that I've attended is through my company. So our company gives like a ton loads of opportunities of learnings. So I have attended to few guest speakers that are sharing how they earned their first 7 digits income, even though they don't have any sales background and they don't have the parents to provide them a thing or two. So yeah, we had that, but not like a course. It's like a weekly motivational huddle like that. It's like
Well, I'd
every
say
week.
that that completely counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Now we'll move on to the interview section. And the first question we like to ask our guests, as it differs between like person to person, is how
Mhm.
would you define personal development?
Okay, so for personal development, it's very deep important for me personally also because it's again knowing who you are now and where you're going to. So in the process, you know that there should be a change, there should be a development or improvement. So it is important, and I define it as how you are personally aware of who you are now, and what are your goals in the next short term, mid term, or long term goals.
That's really, really aptly put. And what do you think are some of the main challenges that most people face in pursuit of this personal development?
For me, comparing to my 2020 self, where everyone is on lockdown, now that the environment that we have here in PH is we don't have the chance to like explore things and be free. So challenges, of course, is if ever knock on wood won't happen again, but if ever there's a lockdown or crisis again, and the environment also, the everyday that we talk to or the online platforms that we consume, that's are some of the challenges in having the pursuit of personal development.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like environment very much affects the way you perceive life and you perceive yourself as well.
Mhm.
And I feel like this is one of the factors of personal development that most people tend to overlook
Yeah.
and not think about as much.
Mhm.
And of course, no one ever wants to, you know, be kind of self-indulgent and
Mhm.
no one wants to victimize themselves and be
Yeah.
like, well, it's the environment around me that's the issue. But
Mhm.
sometimes a change in environment is absolutely necessary or at the very least beneficial. So that's a great way of putting it. But with regards to financial wellness, how would you describe what financial wellness is? What's your definition of it?
For me, financial wellness is having the source of income. Of course, when you talk about financials, you should have funds and sources. And it's also being able to help for your families or someone you love most, maybe in short term or in long term, but it's having that freedom to help and have a choice in deciding for your today and for your future. So, yeah.
And can you explain why insurance is so crucial in developing a well rounded financial plan?
Yeah. Because insurance is really important, and especially in financial wellness. You know, you cannot acquire so many investments, so many assets, but not protected or doesn't have enough security. So insurance is something that not everyone can have. It's a privilege because number one, it cannot be acquired by everyone. It comes with age, it comes with health, but that's the good thing about us as financial advisors is we're sharing how they can afford it soon, but it still depends on people's, goals and targets. And being able to protect whatever investment you have through insurances, you can have that peace of mind at night. You can sleep well at night knowing that it could be a protection and a safety net for all the people you're working hard for. Because again, at the end of the day, why are you working? Why are you waking up every day? So it's really about having the foundation for the family, but you have to protect it also through
Yeah,
insurances. God,
yeah,
yeah.
that's really well said. And how do you think financial wellness or insurance planning might contribute to our personal development?
Yeah. So, like what I mentioned earlier, is that if you don't have financials or source of income, you cannot choose. You know, you don't have a choice. You just eat whatever is served to you. But if you have the right foundations and if you're aware of how insurance works or what this types of financial institutions are offering to give us the comfortable life in the future, not now, but in the future, it helps us to again have that peace, have that right mindset to decide on things without any pressure because it gives us the protection and security. And also, um, most of here in PH, I cannot speak on behalf of other countries, but here in the PH, most relationships don't work if because they don't talk about finances before they get settled down. Most parents lose their child or like go to, different things because they don't talk about how to save or how to earn or how to like safe keep their future. Or maybe some here in PH also, the problem is we don't really talk about how to earn while studying or like saving up in the future. So it's really a combination financial wellness, personal development. You'll be able to choose the right thing if you have those foundations in learning
Yeah,
both of it.
absolutely. And I know that my parents made several mistakes with
For
insurance
sure.
planning when I was younger.
For sure.
So, what are some things that people should consider before deciding on insurance protection?
Yeah. So, like what I said in the first question, you have to have a financial advisor to help you plan for the budget. Now, I know that I have met a lot of people or parents that they say that they bought plans that they don't know. They bought plans that they don't value anymore or have lapsed policies because they haven't funded it regularly. So my basic steps or tips about that is number one, you have to find a registered financial planner or licensed FA that is credible. Someone who has a care for you or for your family. Number two is to trust those credible companies. So you don't just here in PH there are, I don't want to name it, but there are companies that don't do the right thing and just assess first if they are capable. So if you bought plans that you have now like extra money but you don't have in the next years to come, maybe you should check on the budget first. So you have to check on the FA and the companies. And also number three, budgeting. You have to really have the concrete budget, like on a written paper, because that's our job as financial advisor is to give them the templates that they have to know and calculate the risk of having this now or in the next years to come. So yeah.
So, how should one go about assessing their insurance needs to
Yeah.
ensure that they have adequate coverage without overpaying for like unnecessary policies?
Okay, so one just like in doctors, you don't just give when your headaches here in PH you just give paracetamol meds, but in insurance no, you don't have to like one size fits all. You really have to diagnose or what do you call it, have a financial needs analysis process wherein is this over insurance or is this lacking of insurance. You can assess through that, and you cannot just issue like for a doctor you prescribe this medicine, but it's custom or tailored fit to the current situation or health situation. Just like with us, we cannot offer like 5 billion health coverage if you're earning this much. And it's gonna be, a problem in the future. Even though I gave you 5 million coverage, but that's not the need now. What he or she needs is like this. So again, it's about assessing it right. We cannot prescribe so much, but we have to know first the current financial situation and the problems. And also the clients also should give us the right information of their current situation because we cannot help. Just like the doctors, uh, we cannot help what's your problem if we don't know and if you don't open up to us. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a fantastic analogy. I feel like I really kind of understood what assessing, your financial needs
Mhm.
for insurance planning is like with that analogy. So, what are some of the primary types of insurance that people need to consider for their
Mm.
financial well being, and how do they differ in their purposes?
Okay, so what are the types? In our company, there are like 40 plus products and services that we offer. But of course, I don't offer 40 already. But for that question, there should be a step by step guide. So I have this template, but for me to share with you, I could also email it. And first, for the basic part, we have to do the life uh, insurance or the income protection plan. So what does that tell us? It is about having the right coverage for the current assets. Example, the family have 2 million pesos property. So they should have 2 million life insurance coverage just in case they the family or the parents or the one who owned the property is gone, the proceeds from the insurance could pay off to that debt of property or that taxes that comes along the way to transfer smoothly to the heirs. So the life protection also talks about regular payouts or regular income to the beneficiaries again, not all to the property. Some will be given to the beneficiaries for them to continue life because when we're not here as a breadwinner, doesn't mean that their life should end, no? So you have
Yeah.
to still give them like an income. But even though you're not there, it's just that through insurance, you give them still income. They don't feel like you're gone because they still receive something from the proceeds of their plan. So that's the life insurance or income protection plan, wherein the income is protected because even when we're not here, they have 10 years worth of income protection. That's the first one.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So what are the rest?
So for the first, income protection, second is the critical illness and hospitalization plan. So some may be confused that if they have a health protection, they don't need the income protection. But we, as financial advisors, we have to, segregate and really help them understand more of it. So now I can try to make it brief, but the second one is about you having the right coverage for health. So here the questions would be, do you have any genetically inclined diseases in the family like heart attack or cancer, diabetes, or anything? And if they have vices, they also have to let us know. So I have clients that have cancer that runs in the blood. So I will give them a protection for that kind of diseases. Again, example, it's a 2 million plan again, because the worth of that kind of diseases here in PH worth 2 million in general from the time you enter the hospital, then you go to chemotherapy, and then you went out and got discharged, and then you come back again for a checkup. So that's all 2 million. It's also based on the true to life stories of our claims. And they survived because of having the 2 million instant fund. Even though they just had their plan for 3 years, they didn't pay 2 million in the insurance, but at least they already claimed and used the benefits of their plan. So that's the second one. And then last, the third major is the dividends and pension plans. So this third plan is different from the rest because it has payouts. Payouts even though you're not like dead or you don't have illness. So some people don't know this because they thought when they hear insurance, it's like, okay, I have to die, I have to get sick, I have to get into an accident or something inconvenient, uncertainties. But in this plan, we talk about how you can take advantage of these plans and give certain contributions but still receive while living. And it's good for planning for education because, again, everyone who has kids or toddlers, it is really sure that they will go into college. So it's like positioning it as an education plan. Or second, if all the kids are graduates already, it can be used as retirement, wherein even though you're still working, you're at 50s, but you're receiving pensions even though you're still working. So you don't have to wait until 65 in your company because you're waiting for the fund. You can resign because you're waiting for it. So yeah, that's the third one because you can receive it while you're living. No need to wait for you to something happen in your personal. And then there are also investments combined there. So yeah, that's
Thank
just
you so much for explaining that for me.
uh,
I am such a noob when it comes to insurance. So
yeah, I'm
that
glad
was
to
really
help.
clear and I understand it a lot more now. But could you share some strategies that people can use to maximize the value of their insurance policies while keeping them manageable on like a monetary level?
Okay, so I could give on behalf of the true testimonies or clients that uh, I've experienced. So this year, I had like four clients who withdraw funds, partially withdraw a fund. So this one, the first one, got married, and he was able to contribute more than the premiums that he needs because there's a portion in the plan wherein you can do top ups or excess premiums. Like even though it's 3,000, you put 10,000 like that. So the rest of the excess would be going to this investment also. So now he got married this year and sorry last year, and then this year they had financial struggles because of the wedding. So he withdrew a portion of that amounting to 70,000 because um, all the bonuses and the income from the company wasn't given or yet. So he tried to withdrew some, and yeah, he was happy, but he's really excited to get another plan like that because what if they will bear a child or education for their future child, even though it's not yet there, they don't have child yet. But yeah, he used it for the wedding payables. And then the other three is for their family. So the one usually is the child, but the parents had to a medical fund emergencies. So they withdrew a few of their plan, but still insured. They can still enjoy that benefits in the future, but they can borrow from that. And other two had also those withdrew plans, but partially to sustain the current situation because they lost their job. So at least they still insured and they can still contribute there, but not yet now. So they're just surviving this month because they lost their job. So something like that.
That's interesting. So it sounds like you can kind of see how it like kind of play it by ear, and if you're in a tighter spot at some point in life, you
Mhm.
like it might be a good idea to withdraw from the premiums, and at
Mhm.
least that way you're still insured. It's just that the
Yeah.
premiums aren't there, and you can kind of sustain yourself with that money that you're using to keep yourself insured with the premiums. But what are some common misconceptions about insurance?
Okay. So some misconceptions, like what I mentioned earlier, is that they thought they need to experience death first to so the family will enjoy it. They didn't know about the living benefits. So just like what I mentioned, even though there's emergencies not related to health or not related to a death of a loved one, they can still partially withdraw some of their funds depending on the plans they avail. Okay, so not all plans have those benefits. Second misconception is that it's expensive, because if you just basically compute the premiums towards the coverage, you get 5 million coverage in the future, but you're just paying 3,000 or 5K. And even though we pay the whole required contribution years, it's still the coverage is still not that the how much you paid. So they thought it's really expensive because insurance has that branding, or it's like for the elites. But now companies have been innovative in creating a plan for minimum wage earners here in PH, as low as 900 pesos or 1,000 a month. They can really enjoy it already, or like have it covered already. So that's the two misconceptions about insurance policies.
That's amazing, and it's great to hear that companies have been more innovative with
Yeah.
creating insurance plans for minimum wage workers, because they deserve those benefits as
Yeah.
much as anyone else do, and it's
Right.
great that now they do have that option. Finally, before we end off the interview, what is one piece of advice you'd like to give to someone who's looking at insurance for the first time?
So when I talk to, I experienced it actually, that there are these people that they just want to talk to me because they want to fix their business or their budget, but they don't know that we will going to talk about insurance, because I'm also a business consultant, so they can ask questions about it. So what are my advice or their tips is that they should be open with all the available opportunities in the world or here in BH, because um, all those things have purpose. It's not created just for the sake of creating it. Everything has those privilege to learn, but they should not close their minds about this benefits. Again, it's a benefit for them, not for us. So they should just listen, but they can choose what to listen to. But again, just be open about it. And maybe in the future, maybe not now, because again, I have clients and experiences that I talked to them last 2019, pandemic happened, come what may. So they need help funds, they got COVID, they lost their parents just for the span of 5 months. And I take accountability with that, and that made me better also. But I cannot do anything more because they already have passed or they got sick already. So it's just a matter of being open to what the possibilities or opportunities that may come their way, because again, we don't know what the future holds, and we should like just listen and learn, love learning. We should love learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great mindset to go into the new year with. So thank you so much for sharing all of that
Thank
with
you
me,
so much.
Jen. Now we'll move on to the open mic. And this is
Okay.
your opportunity to talk about anything that you're passionate about that doesn't have
You.
to be related to insurance. So the floor is yours. Please take it away.
Thank you, Marie. So yeah, I'd like to share that again. I also do business consultancy, wherein I'm talking to entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs to have like their own business or marketing strategies to help their business, because I also do business. And number two is that I have this page. It's called the Wiser Millennials PH in the Facebook page, also in Instagram, wherein I feature millennials and entrepreneurs, their businesses, or how their story can inspire other people. It's like this, but not in a podcast, in a blog form. So I post their achievements, and I do network them to my clients. Example, if there are a real estate consultant or broker, I bridge them to my doctor client. So in that page, they can see each other or their credibility. So when I vouch for them, it's like a business. And a third is I also do events. So like weddings, birthdays, and companies wherein you do the organizing of the events and coordination. It's also my opportunity to meet and network with others. And my clients are my first clients. Like when they got their baby, I host the first birthday or gender reveal. So it's like a continuous lifetime partnership with me as their financial advisor. And also, I celebrate their life milestones. And other businesses are resto and milk tea business. So yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And I love how you've spread yourself vertically. All of your businesses kind of intertwine a little bit and can give each other a life. And you just kind of you go in this life cycle. And it's amazing how you manage to do it. I know a lot of entrepreneurs as well who have try to do this kind of thing but have kind of maybe missed the mark, and you seem to be doing such a great job, so that's amazing. You
Thank
seem
you.
like you've like mastered the art of doing that. It's really difficult to think of
Mhm.
something that's unique to you,
You're
and something that you're passionate about, while doing it vertically, because that's it doesn't work all the time.
mhm.
Yeah, but thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's really, really interesting. We'll link all of those in the show notes. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us today once again. If our listeners want to find out more about you and what you do, where can they go?
So yeah, my Instagram is at Coach Jen Fajardo. You can also search me on LinkedIn and Facebook. That's Coach Jen Fajardo, CWPCEPP. And in my Facebook page is The Wiser Millennials PH or Jen Fajardo, CWPCEPP.
Amazing. We'll link that in the show notes below. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We wish you a very happy new year, and we hope you've learned a bit about insurance policies and planning with us. And we'll catch you in the next episode.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Self Improvement Atlas, the Personal Science Insights podcast produced by LMSL, the Life Management Science Labs. For more episodes like this from 10 different life management perspectives, search LMSL on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts, so you can get updated on everything we have to offer. We have a wide range of topics readily available for you to check out. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider rating our show, sharing it, and subscribing to our channel, as it helps us grow and bring you more quality resources. More of our work can be found on our website at pe.lmsl.net, where you can join our movement. I'm Marie Stella. Thanks for tuning in.